Yo, big shout out to everybody who is a major My Hero Academia fan like myself, and you knew that this figure released on Kirishima's birthday of October 16th. You guys the real fans. What the heck is up, you guys? It's your boy Ace, aka Animated Heroes, here back with another action figure review. And as you guys can see today, we're going to be taking a look at the Figma My Hero Academia Eijiro Kirishima, or as you guys know him as in the series, the Red Riot. And man, I am really stoked for this figure, especially after getting my hands on Todoroki and it ending up being better than I thought it was going to be. I have high hopes for this guy, and it looks really nice. So that being said, let's take a look at that sexy packaging so we can get this figure out and see what it's all about. Now for the sexy packaging, it's nothing we hadn't seen before. Once again, Figma did go with the smaller size package, which is perfect for me because it fits on my shelves a whole lot better. You do have the window right here so you can see the figure, some of the accessories. Choking hazard right there. Figma, number 481, My Hero Academia, Eijiro Kirishima. Of course, you got him in an action pose at the top with all the same stuff. Same pose going on at the bottom right there. On the side, you've just got him with his hands on his waist. That's pretty cool. I really like the way these faces look, by the way. Then right here, you got him when he's ready to battle. Definitely dig that. Then, of course, on the back, you've got even more poses, all the legal stuff, and the stuff that no one cares about. So that being said, let's go ahead and bust this guy out and see what it's about. Now, straight out of the package, here we have the Figma Red Riot, and it doesn't look too bad. It comes off as bland, but, I mean, if you remember his first outfit from My Hero Academia, his hero costume, this is pretty much what you got with it. There wasn't a whole lot to the costume. And so for what they had to work with, I think they did a decent job. There are some things I do dislike about design, but that's only one thing, actually. Actually, no, there's two, and I'll discuss the other one a little bit later when I get into the articulation. But first off, he looks fine. Like, in terms of the looks, they did a great job on him. Wish they would have added a little bit of shading to the hair. That probably would have topped it off a little bit more because, like I said, that is what makes the figure look bland. But in terms of the face sculpt, they got it perfect, which is not uncommon for Figma because they're usually pretty good at nailing anime characters. I don't know what these pieces were. I think he just wanted to add something to his costume to make it look cool, and these work. They're attached to the arms, so pretty much wherever you move the arm, these pieces are going to go. Now, you do see this weird gapping in here if you don't pose it right, so if you move his arm out, you just turn that in and it completely hides it. So you don't have to worry about that showing. It does look weird, but once again, it can be hidden, so that's not too much to worry about. As far as the arms go, everything works perfect, even with these pieces on here, so I do like that. Now, as far as how they did the sash, I like this as well. It's on a hinge, and so it doesn't too much limit you from posing his legs. Now, after playing with him a bit, I do have an issue with this leg falling off a little bit more than I would like it to, but once again, I'll get into that in articulation. But overall, I mean, I think they did a good job with the amount of nothingness on this figure. I do wish that they would have added a little bit of shading, like some black wash would have topped this off. Not so much down here, but I think it just would have made this figure pop a little bit more. Now, on to one of my aesthetic problems. This right here. This gap, the only way that you can hide it is when you make him lean back. But if he's standing straight forward, that gap is going to be there. Now, of course, he's looking forward, so you're not going to see it. But if you want to pose him just standing up, like with his back turned like this, you either have to lean him back, which is going to look really weird, or just have him like this and then the gap is there. So I don't really care for that. I don't know why they didn't fill that in. I have an idea, which I'll discuss a little bit later, but in terms of details, that's pretty much what you get with this guy. So let's go ahead and put him back and see how tall he stands. Now for the height of Kirishima, as you guys can see, he's right at about 5¼ to the top of his head, almost 6 inches to the top of his hair. So once again, he's going to fit in scale with all the rest of your My Hero Academia Figmas. If you have them, you don't have to worry about that. Now here's where some of the problems come in, and I don't mean a whole lot when I say that. That's going to be the articulation. As you guys can see, he looks up about that much, which works fine because the hair is touching the back of his neck, and I like the accuracy behind this, so I'm fine with them sculpting it this way. He doesn't really look down too much. You get about that much, which I think is fine. It's very decent, and the chin is actually touching the chest, so I mean that works. And then of course you can get crunch out of him as well to make him look down even further. But you do get tilt, so you can get a whole lot of expression out of him, which is normal. His arms go up and out about that much before this piece starts touching the collarbone, and this actually pops off. I wanted to show this. And as you guys can see, you just attach it back to the arm. I don't too much care for this design. It works, but I don't know, I just don't like that too much. I would much rather it just peg right into the shoulder, because this piece can look kind of weird right there. But either way, it does work. You do get a built-in bicep swivel. His arms come forward and cross over his chest about that much, so that's cool. He can definitely punch very well. They do go all the way around, and that popped off. I wasn't expecting that, but okay. We'll put that back on there. Anyway, he has a single jointed elbow, but as you guys can see, it bends all the way in. His hands are on a hinge, and so you can pretty much move them around however you want to with very few limitations. Crunches forward about that much at the diaphragm, back a whole lot actually, so that's pretty dope. And then you do get, once I line it back up, a whole lot of turn and tilt and all of that out of there. But this is where a problem comes in. This is one I was told about before the review, and I was hoping that it wasn't true. He actually does not have a waist swivel. I've tried taking him apart and all, but this is completely stiff. So unless somebody knows a method that I don't know, I'm just gonna say he doesn't. If you get this figure and you figure it out, hit me up in the comments, because I do want to know. Now, once again, that was an issue I discussed earlier. This leg pops off so much easier than I wanted to. It's really getting annoying. But anyway, these pieces right here are on a hinge, so you can just kind of lift those and move them out of the way. If you want to do kicking poses, he can kick out, but you will get a little bit of separation there, and so it kind of looks weird. Once again, I was trying to see if I could show a kicking pose, but it's not wanting to do it. And I think that just popped back on completely. Maybe I wasn't putting it on right. There we go. So yeah, you can get him in a kicking pose if you want. Once again, there will be a little bit of gap right there, but that's all right. Now, as far as kicking forward, goes forward about that much, which is good. Doesn't really go back too much, but it is there. Then in terms of doing the splits, you can get it about that much. He does also have a built-in thigh swivel. As far as the knees go, it's a single joint, and I don't like this sculpt because the pants are really thick, and it kind of gives you that old Dragon Ball, I forget, the 1.0 releases where you have this weird like clam in here. It just looks so weird. But I mean, if they didn't know any way around it, whatever, I'll accept it. I just don't really care for that too much at all. And yeah, like I said, that's all you get in terms of bend. No swivel right here at the boot, but you get a little bit right here at the knee, so that will kind of help. As far as his foot going down, it goes down about that much, up about that much. He does get ankle rocker, and he does have a toe hinge as well. So articulation wise, decent, and everything is just falling off of this guy. So that's going to be one of the problems I mentioned at the end. Like, pieces just fall off of this guy, and it does get pretty annoying. But anyway, this is articulation. Let's move on to the accessories, and then I'll talk about all the problems I have at the end. Now, for accessories, you don't really get a whole lot with this guy. First off, you get this smiling face that comes on him straight out of the package, and it's just a cheerful Kirishima. I do really enjoy this. You also do get another one where he's smiling, showing his teeth a little bit more. I really like that they sculpted this with the teeth showing. Like, this is an expression I really wanted from this figure, so I'm glad that they included it. And then you also get him where he's pretty much attacking. You can see he has his hardened quirk around his face, and it's cool. I mean, not a whole lot to it, but the detail on it is nice. As far as hands go, I'll just show them on the rack. You get a pair of relaxed hands, a pair of holding hands, even though he doesn't come with anything to hold. You get a pair of like stylish posed hands, and these are actually supposed to be attached to the other arms I'm going to show in just a second, because they're not sculpted the same as these. Well, they are, but of course there's a little bit more texturing to them to show that he's using his quirk. And then you just get a thumbs up hand. And so a good array of hands, I'm fine with that. And then one of them just fell off. But lastly, you do get the ones where he's using his quirk, and I feel like these would look so much better with a little bit of line work to them. Like, that would have made these pop. Like the same way they did the line work on his face right around his forehead, that would have made these arms pop. But they don't do a whole lot of details sometimes, and I'll never understand that. But he also comes with a pair of fists on these, as you guys can see, and then they have a little extra sculpting to them as well to show a little bit more texture that he's using his quirk. So that's pretty much all you get with this guy. I really wish he would have came with an alternate hairpiece where you could change it to where he's not wearing his helmet. And I feel like that at least would have topped it off, because they don't have any kind of accessories to where he has mastered his quirk where it gets stronger. And so you have these bare hands, and I really wish they could have included more. And I'll show you guys what I mean when I say I wish he came with a separate head. Now, I'm not one who usually likes to compare apples to oranges, but this is one of those situations where I feel like I should do so. Not because it's necessary, but because it shows how this figure could have been a little bit better. So first off, you do have the McFarlane right here, which, as you guys can see, the helmet is sculpted to this head. And this is just a soft plastic that you can plug around his face. It can get annoying to deal with sometimes, but I feel like Figma actually could have worked it in to throw in an extra head sculpt. As you guys can see, the ear and everything is right there, where he does actually have the capability to take this off. Because while this is cool, sometimes we just want to pose and relax without the helmet on. Same with Bakugo. I really wish they would have gave him a head sculpt where he doesn't have his mask on. I understand, yes, it's their hero costumes, but a variety of accessories always makes a figure better. And so I just feel like it's a missed opportunity for Figma once again. Now for some size comparisons, here he is standing next to the Figma My Hero Academia Deku first release. Also, since the new chapters came out today, here he is standing next to the SH Figuarts Boruto Uzumaki and the SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Super Son Goku Mastered Ultra Instinct. Next up, here he is standing next to the Revoltech My Hero Academia Deku, which I don't think this scales too bad. I think he actually looks fine next to him. This actually, to me, looks better than the Figma version next to him. Now, with Bakugo, I also feel like this is perfect because I think Kirishima is a little bit taller than Bakugo, not too much. And of course, as we all know, Todoroki is completely out of scale. He should definitely be a little bit taller. Not sure if he's taller than Kirishima, but I don't know. I just don't like the way he scales with this Bakugo at all. And then, of course, if you saw my review, you know he does not scale well with Izuku either. Here he is standing next to two All Mights. First off, we have the McFarlane Toys All Might, and then we have the Revoltech All Might. And honestly, I think this looks fine either way with how small he is compared to both. Obviously, the Revoltech is going to be the better version, but either way, you could definitely wedge either of these guys in a photo with him. Lastly, for some extras, here he is standing next to the Marvel Legends Retro Wave Spider-Man, the Mafex Dark Knight Returns Batman, and of course the G.I. Joe Classics Red Ninja with an Animated Heroes head sculpt on it. So for my final thoughts on this guy, it's a meh figure. That's honestly the only way I know how to put it. It's not bad by any means. It's Kirishima, but it's one of those figures that's basic and straight to the point, meaning you get what you get. There's not a whole lot to be excited for. There's not a ton of accessories. The sculpt is just very bland. I really wish they would just stick with making them in their season 2 costumes, or season 3, I believe, where they actually start getting upgrades. Because I think this is when the heroes actually started designing the costumes for themselves, and they were all very basic. So you get figures that are lackluster because now we're on season 4, I believe, of My Hero Academia. We see how cool these guys look. Then you have Reveltech, who just killed it by making that Deku. And then you have the very bland meh version. McFarlane's killing it making these guys. And I don't know, man. It's a very bland figure. Now, that's not a bad thing, once again. But it's one of those figures where it doesn't feel like you get what you paid for. If you paid $80. Now, that's what I paid. Some of you guys might get him for around $60 after he releases in the States. Or if you're in Japan or elsewhere and you wait on the release, you'll get him for that retail price. Me, I wanted this guy quickly just because I love My Hero Academia. And I wanted to review it for you guys so you would know what to expect. He's cool in terms of his looks. Now, I found out the issue I was having with the leg popping off, that was on me. I didn't have it put on properly, so that was completely my fault. I'm not going to say there was a quality control issue there. Now, this arm piece right here, this falls off on mine quite a bit. It pops back on, but I think it's just because of the way I was articulating it. Also, the arms fall off. Just the whole arm itself just will come off sometimes, and now it's not wanting to do it. But yeah, that's an issue for me. I don't really care for this right here. This is probably my #1 gripe, even over the fact that there is no kind of swivel down here at the waist. This is my #1 gripe because I feel like they could have worked around this for sure. I don't know why they did that. That's just not cool. Like, that's not cool at all. But once again, not a bad figure. He does have some problems, and it's a very lackluster figure. That's really all I can say about it. But if you are a fan of My Hero Academia like I am, you have to have every figure, and there's no way you can have Bakugo without Kirishima. You gotta have him. So I do like it. I don't love it. Now, I do think I could have some fun posing it, and I'm pretty sure you guys could as well. So feel free to pick him up. Don't overpay for it. It's not worth that much. If you can get him for around retail, go for it. But yeah, that is my review of this figure. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. That always helps me out. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and make sure to hit that bell icon to be notified whenever I upload new content. Lastly, follow me on everything you see listed in the description below. 2, make sure you see all of the other work I do outside of YouTube. And you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace. Oh, I just hit the figure.